We dubbed it, never really had an official name, but we dubbed it the trash can of doom. And so you have like a trash can in the middle of the carpet area and everyone holds hands and you have to try and get everyone else to touch the trash can, any part of their body. And then if they do, they're out. And so it gets really like chaotic.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. What were you, Elliot?
So Anna actually took mine, but that's okay.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's a pleasure to have you. For those of you joining us here on Trinity Talks today, we have members of our youth group leadership team. We've actually just come up with that title just a few moments ago, the YGLT. We have Zion, our youth director. So welcome.
Thank
you for joining
Hi.
me. We have Anna, who is a longtime volunteer and also a previous youth, I believe, right? Yeah, so thank you. And Elliot, you're joining us here. You are a youth volunteer and you have worked as the director of youth as well here at Trinity.
That's right.
So thanks again for joining me. I was hoping that over the next, I'm looking at my clock here, but for over the next half an hour or so, we can talk a little bit about what the youth ministry looks like here at Trinity, specifically youth group, as well as learn a little bit about what encourages you as you work with the youth here at the church. Sound good?
Sounds great.
All right. So I know that the youth group meets every Friday and you meet between 6 and 10 o'clock at night. Now, Zion, how does a typical youth meeting usually begin?
Well, we pretty much always start with a game.
Like a game. All right. Well, if you've ever seen Trinity Talks before, we often also begin with a game. So I think that would be a very fitting way to start. As you sat down in your chairs, everybody, I gave you a paddle. Is that what they're called? A paddle? Yes, they're called a paddle. And there's a little ping pong table downstairs that sometimes our youth actually play with. And on each side of your paddle, you'll see the letter A. And on the other side, you'll see the letter B. Just show that to the camera, everybody. Show your A. This is practice. Show your B. Excellent. I promise we didn't rehearse before either. All right, so we're going to play a quick game of Would You Rather. Have you played that before with the youth?
No.
No. All right. So you can add this to your repertoire. So I'm going to ask you some questions, A or B, and you're just going to choose which one you would rather, A or B. To begin with, we're going to start with an easy question. If maybe you saw the daffodils coming up, so I was inspired by the weather. Would you rather live in only A, spring, or B, fall? Ooh. 2 springs and a fall. All right. So Zion, you're just going to have to wait 6 more months and then you'll be a happy guy.
Too much rain.
Not enjoying this time
Too
of
much
year.
rain. Well, April flowers, spring May flowers. All right. We're just going to have to stay on the seasons train for a minute here. Would you rather A, summer, or B, winter? All right. Summer all around is coming.
Unanimous.
Yeah, that's right. I was sort of expecting that one. All right. Now we're going to go to more of a youth kind of themed one. Would you rather A, TikTok, or B, Instagram? All right. Elliot chose TikTok.
Are you on TikTok?
No, I'm not on either of them. So I don't really know but I know you can make flashy videos.
Yes,
we did it one time.
And you chose Instagram. All right. Why is that?
You can just do more. There's kind of like TikTok. There's like Instagram Reels, which is basically the same as TikTok.
It just has more diversity. Yeah. Oh, Elliot's learning something here.
I don't know.
All right.
These things.
Okay. A musical question. A, Taylor Swift, or B, Ed Sheeran?
Easy.
Oh my goodness, unanimous all around. Sorry, Swifties, we're
Don't come at us.
protection. Okay, great. Okay, this is one back to your high school days. Would you rather prefer A, the arts, or B, maths and sciences? Anna, arts?
Yeah.
B, maths and sciences.
It's close though.
It's close. Yeah, could go either way. All right. Well, very decisive though, I must say. We're learning so much about you. All right, now we're going into the modern times. Artificial intelligence. A, is it good? Or B, is it bad? It's kind of a black and white question.
That's such a nuanced question.
What's your gut tell you?
Right now?
That's right.
All right. Ooh, Anna's the deciding
Anna's
vote.
deciding.
So hard.
It is. All right.
I guess.
Just
it's-
not. All right.
Oh,
Wait.
It's
which
scary,
So
but
A, good.
A good. That's
it makes it easier. Makes
Yeah.
it work easier.
All right. So there's pros and cons. So I'm sorry for that black and white kind of question. But anyway, we just had to go with it. Now we're going to go to the Bible. We're going to go Old Testament. And if you could have an amazing power, would you prefer to have a super strength like Samson or be very wise like Solomon? Wisdom?
Ooh, strength.
Strength is strength. All right.
Because I think I would like the hair of Samson as well as I would assume you get that
You
as well
assume
as
you get the whole package?
Yeah.
There you go. Love it. Okay, and now we're jumping to the New Testament. If you were present for one of Jesus's miracles, would you prefer to be there when he feeds the 5,000 or B, when he walks on water?
See, walking on water would be really cool, but like I want to eat food. Though it's fish, and I don't really like fish, so maybe walking on water.
You know, that was the same thought process I went through if it was candy. And so we've got feed the 5,000 and 2 walking on waters. All right, very cool. Continuing along, this is a situational question. Would you prefer to live in a world where there was A, no electricity, or B, no indoor plumbing?
Oh.
We just changed gears right
I
there.
pass.
A is no electricity. B is indoor plumbing.
Yeah, that's right.
No, I'm not giving up indoor plumbing.
Yeah. I feel like there would be more disease without indoor plumbing.
Yeah, right. Okay, so that's unanimous across the board. And then I have one question left, and this is a Trinity-based question. Which service do you prefer? The 9:15, our early morning service, or the 11:15 service? A, 9:15, B, 11:15, and A, 9:15.
I could have predicted that, I think.
All right. Are you an early bird, Elliot and Zion? Would you consider yourselves?
Not really.
No. Just like
I find I'm more attentive, I think, and like I listen better in the morning. But yeah.
all right. And why 11:15 for you, Anna?
I'm not a morning person.
So it just fits better with your schedule. Well, that's great. So we just played a game, and you mentioned that youth group always begins with a game. To start us off, what's your favorite youth group game that each of you play when you are at youth group on a Friday night with the youth?
Well, my favorite game is a game called SWAT. It's kind of like a fast-paced name game, but then you get to whack each other or swat each other with like a pool noodle type thing. So yeah, that was always my favorite growing up, and so I brought it with me over to Trinity too.
Oh, that sounds fun. Just watch out, Anna. He's still holding his paddle there. What about you?
My favorite, I don't know if we've played it this year. I don't think we have, but my favorite is, we dubbed it, never really had an official name, but we dubbed it the trash can of doom. And so you have like a trash can in the middle of the carpet area, and everyone holds hands, and you have to try and get everyone else to touch the trash can, any part of their body, and then if they do, they're out. And so it gets really like chaotic.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Elliot?
So Anna actually took mine, but that's okay because I have many. I'll say probably my favorite to be part of myself is Mafia. I love playing Mafia and creating like scenes and stories, and then having people accuse each other of being the killer, and yeah, it's fun. But I think the youth would say, from kind of my time as a youth group leader, like favorite every single week, we used to play sardines. I didn't play, but the youth would play and play sardines throughout the church. And yeah, that was a real crowd pleaser.
Oh, that sounds like fun too. Yeah. All right. So all three of you are right now in the leadership group. I'm wondering if you can tell me a little bit about what your personal experiences were in church as a youth, or if you had those experiences in general.
Yeah. So I grew up not at Trinity. I grew up in a smaller church, but we still had a decent like core group of youth group members. Like we had like 15 or so, but it was actually really good for us because we all got really tight. So that was definitely a highlight growing up, was going to youth group every week and seeing all my friends.
Nice.
I grew up at Trinity, and I actually went to the youth group when I was a youth. Obviously very different time then. But I would say the main thing I took away from my time being at youth group was just the inclusivity. It was really a space where anyone could come and be welcome, and really a space where a lot of youth who were not church-raised youth came. And so I think for myself, being church raised, having that experience and exposure and like meeting other people and really, yeah, had an impact on just my own worldview as well.
That's really nice. Thank you. Thank you. And Elliot, did you grow up going to youth?
Yes, I grew up at Little Trinity Anglican Church on the east side of Toronto. And so youth group was on Friday nights, and it was a big event, obviously, commuting from Mississauga into youth group. And it just felt kind of, as you know, Zion has mentioned it, and Anna, it's felt like a family. And the culture of youth group, it just felt like a safe space and a place where we could learn about Jesus, but also be together. So yeah, it was a difference maker in my childhood for sure.
That's amazing. All right. So what's the purpose? Maybe Zion, you can answer this, of the youth group here at Trinity, and who is it for? What are the ages?
At Trinity, we have 2 different age groups. We got all the middle schoolers and all of the high schoolers. And I think Elliot sort of just touched on it too. Our purpose, I think we have like 2 main goals. Firstly, we try to help all of our youth grow in their faith and teach them about how Jesus loves them and teach them more about God. And the second main goal is just creating a safe space where people can come and develop these relationships with each other, and have a safe space to come. Yeah.
That's great. And like Anna said, it's really for anyone, whether you come to church or you don't. You're all welcome at youth group, right?
Yeah.
For sure. All right. So why did you feel called to start working in youth ministry here at Trinity? Maybe we'll start with you, Elliot.
Sure. So I remember back in 2013, we had a ministry fair, and I was immediately drawn to the youth group table to become a volunteer. And I really felt, kind of just to my previous answer, that I wanted to help cultivate like that culture of kind of a family for youth group at Trinity, and be part of that and help develop that. And explore kind of the dynamics of youth group learning their faith, and living their faith. So that was really what called me, and it's kind of been a little bit of addictive throughout the years, just getting excited for youth group every single Friday night, coming to youth group. And so, yeah, it's been since 2013. It's been hard to shake.
Fun. And Anna?
Yeah, for me, my experience in youth group, it was so positive, and having those building relationships with friends and then also leaders. So I think coming back, wanted to help create that for our youth. And also when I was in youth group, there was a lot of change that happened during our time, and like leadership and like the directors and like adult leaders as well. And so I saw the toll kind of that took. So wanting to give the youth that were coming up help be part of the positive of that and make it a good experience without those negative impacts.
Yeah. And with you volunteering for so long, and I know it's been several years now, you've given them that consistency too, of having someone that they rely on and someone that they know will be there. So that's wonderful to see this long term. And then Zion, you've come into this brand new this year as youth director. So what called you into working with this population?
Well, I've always loved working with young people. Like when I was young, I volunteered in kids' church, and I've worked here at Camp Trinity for like five summers, I think. I've worked at a couple of other summer camps as well. And I also used to be a soccer coach, working with a whole bunch of different age groups. So I've always enjoyed working with young people, because it's just really exciting. They always bring the energy, and you never know what they're going to say or what they're going to do. So yeah, I have a lot of energy too. So it just works well to come and hang out with them. And then also I think I like the opportunity to be a good role model in some of these people's lives.
That's great. That's great. And I think I've heard very positive things about the youth group this year. So I'm wondering if you can tell us a little bit about what a typical Friday night looks like when a youth shows up. We mentioned you start with a game often. What else can a youth expect when they show up on a Friday night? Yeah,
so our first game is normally like 45 minutes or so. So we let everyone get all their energy out. Well, not all.
That's
we try. We try to get some of their energy out. And then after that, we move into lesson time, which we've done. Like, lesson has looked mostly like me going up and talking for a few minutes. But we also watch some videos occasionally too. We've had a couple of other speakers as well. And then after our lesson time, we go into small group to help the youth unpack sort of what they just heard and have the opportunity to ask more questions. And then we have snack time, which is like one of the highlights, I think, for the youth. And then with whatever time left, we either play another game or we just hang out with each other until it's home time.
That sounds great. It sounds like a lot of fun. I was wondering then if you could tell me a little bit about maybe some of your favorite memories from youth group that you've had over the years. What are some stories that stand out in your minds? Do you want to begin with that, Elliot?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, there's many stories and favorite memories, but many of mine are around youth retreats. So having that time, usually once or twice a year to go north of the city usually, and to spend like solid full weekend with each other. And that's usually involves worship and teaching and time together, games. And usually there's some really beautiful moments of kind of youth kind of coming to Christ or kind of sharing, opening up, that really builds connections, often with other youth, but often with the leaders as well. So I really find that kind of like cultivates a real closeness in youth group, and it's often a highlight of our year is it's the youth retreats, as it was this year.
Great. And how often, do you go on a retreat? Is it usually once a year? Sometimes twice? Sometimes once?
Yeah, I think in the past it's been once or twice, but this year we went on one.
Awesome. Great. Yeah. And the pictures looked great. I wish I had a picture to show everybody because they looked really fun. What about you, Anna?
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say retreats as well. Again, they're always just such a fun time. But I'll also say, honestly, just being in small group is always really good. With my group, I always like to do like weekly check-ins and see how the youth's weeks has been. And so over time, now they like get excited to do the check-in and share what's been going on in their lives. And that's really cool to see, and like that they want to share with each other and then meet with me as well. And that they just want to be in each other's lives and
that's amazing.
Share their own life.
It sounds like there's these relationships are formed and built and cultivated through those types of more intimate conversations.
I think that's something the girls' small groups do especially well. That seems to be a real highlight. I don't know if the guys get as deep, but the girls seem to really gravitate to small groups.
You never know.
Yeah.
You never know. Zion, coming in just this year, what memory stands out for you, perhaps?
Yeah, I was also going to say the youth retreat, of course. I mean, it's just really special. But if I have to pick something else, I'll go with the youth gala that we do. I know Elliot's been doing it annually, so I was like, all right, let's keep that going.
Is that the Christmas gala?
Yes, the youth Christmas gala.
Nice.
So we decorated the parish hall here, and we threw on a good event. Actually, sort of behind the scenes action, we were watching the registrations pile in, and this year there was 80 registrations. And my mom said that she would cater for us. And she's like, how am I going to feed 80 people? But in the end, we had a really successful time. There was enough food for everyone. And one particular moment at the youth gala that was my favorite was at the very end when we were all playing Just Dance. And there's just a room full of people all dancing. That was really fun to watch.
It's fun.
That does sound like fun. That's great. All right. So those sound like fun times. But we know that youth also face some challenges, like any generation does. But what, from your experience in working with the youth, would you say maybe are some of the challenges that are facing the youth at this time? And feel free, anyone can just maybe jump in and just share that.
I can start.
Oh, thanks.
I think it's interesting with this generation growing up with social media because, even me, I'm not that much older than some of them, but I'm like, I don't know, 7, 8 years older than some of the grade 6s. And they already have phones, not all of them, but some of them already have phones and they already have social media. And I think it's really easy to compare yourself to what you see online and on all of these different types of medias, which can be harmful because a lot of what people post, right, they're only posting their highlights of their lives. So it's hard for people to compare and see how awesome everyone else's life is. And then you're constantly looking at that. And I think it can also is one of the things that's contributing to so many mental health issues that youth have to deal with these days.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think social isolation As Zion mentions, is a big one. Social media is a huge contributor to that. And I think, even if it wasn't for social media, I think just so many youth that feel out of place, maybe in the world or in school, that are coming to youth and hopefully feeling a little bit more connected. But, through small groups, they do open up and share about some of the concerns they have with, friend groups and just feeling connected to people. And it's such a tricky transitional part of life that I think that's natural and always has been. But and everyone experiences it differently. So I think that continues. And social media certainly, Zion's correct, hasn't made it any easier. It's made it more difficult.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I'm just wondering then how you have also maybe been encouraged by this generation. So every generation brings its own, and I don't want to paint everyone with the same brush stroke, but every generation brings its own strengths and gifts and learnings to us. So from your experience working with them, what have you learned as leaders from them?
I personally have learned, I kind of remember my early days helping out with youth group that, you think that maybe one tactic or one approach to something or a topic is going to be universally kind of accepted and a good tactic. But obviously youth are so different that the way they learn, the way they think, the way they approach things is all unique. So it's really important to see how things resonate with each person individually and have those one-on-one conversations set apart from kind of, just the group conversations or discussions. And it's amazing. I've also learned how, especially this generation, how innovative and tech savvy, but also just kind of creatively thinking this generation really is. And I tend to learn new things apart from the kind of updating the slang. I learn new things about kind of how to navigate this modern world from them basically every week. So it's a pretty impressive coming to youth group and seeing the creativity and innovation in some of these youth.
Well, that's encouraging as well, isn't it?
I think I would say on one thing I think social media and just the internet in general has done is brought more exposure to things. So the differences of personalities and different struggles that people may have and just different ways that people do think and act. I'm just thinking of neurodivergent people and things like that. And so I've seen a real kindness from the youth to those people in how they, welcome them in and treat them and more understanding of those differences as well.
That's great. That's great. Thanks for highlighting that.
And I also think that these youth do a great job of enjoying the ordinary moments in their life. When they come to youth group, we're all just playing and having fun. And not to say that they're always on their phones, but, sometimes when we're having a good time, all of a sudden they whip out their phone and they got to record this moment just because, it seems like just kind of an ordinary fun time, but they always want to document everything and save these memories.
Yeah. Well, that's encouraging as well to see that this is something that they consider memorable. They want to connect with other people about. And I'm really hearing a theme of connection and relationship in general from the youth here. Now, if anyone is out there and would like to get involved in youth ministry here at Trinity, be it a volunteer or be it being a youth and want to come out on a Friday night, how can they get involved?
Well, to the youth, we typically meet. So if you're in grades 6 to 8, we meet from 6 to 8 p.m., pretty much always here at the church. And you can just show up anytime. You don't have to register in advance or anything. And then if you're in high school, then we meet from 8 to 10 p.m. And same thing. You can just show up whenever you feel interested. We're always hoping to have more people come out and build some more relationships with some of the people that we have. And we also have, I think we do have a really inclusive group of youth that, are welcoming to newcomers. So that's really great to see. And then to people who are maybe older than youth age and are interested in volunteering, please feel free to reach out and we can have a chat about that and see if we can make that work and you can come and volunteer on Fridays. If you also want to contribute in another way, but you don't really feel like coming out to the youth group is your thing, then maybe you can also bake us a little gift, because something else that the youth have taught me is that they are a very hungry group.
They're hungry, and we know snacks happen every week.
Yeah, every week we need snacks. No matter how many snacks I buy, we always run out. So, yeah.
I love leaving it on that note. So that's great. So an inclusive, welcoming, relationship building, consistent Friday night is for the youth here at Trinity and any youth who'd like to get involved. And that is not because of the amazing leadership that has supported that. So thank you very much for supporting the youth here at Trinity, Zion and Anna and Elliot, as well as all the other volunteers. You're just representing some of the amazing people who support our youth here. So thanks for joining me.